You might be struggling financially right now, but it's not your fault. Believe it or not, there is something in your home that is silently draining your money. It took me years to realize this. But once I finally removed this thing from my home, my financial situation changed forever. What is it? I'll tell you, but first, I want you to think, why do some people seem to attract wealth effortlessly, while others spend their entire lives struggling without making any real progress? If you watch this video until the end, I promise you will discover exactly what is keeping you in financial hardship and how to change it today. Have you ever walked into a house and felt a heavy atmosphere? As if something was off, yet you couldn't quite pinpoint what it was. That is not a coincidence. Our home is a reflection of our mind, and what we keep inside it directly influences our energy, our well-being, and yes, even our financial prosperity. It took me a long time to understand this. But once I did, everything changed. For years, I worked tirelessly to achieve success. I read books, took courses, and pushed myself, yet something always seemed to hold me back. Money came in, only to disappear just as quickly. It felt like I was stuck in an endless cycle of effort without reward. Then, one day, while speaking to a mentor, I was asked a simple question: what is your environment like? At first, I didn't think much of it. But when I got home, I started looking around with fresh eyes. That's when I noticed something astonishing. I was surrounded by broken things. A chair with a cracked leg that I kept using, just until I got a new one. A clock that had stopped working years ago, sitting on my shelf simply because it was a gift. Pens that had run out of ink, drawers full of useless charges, clothes with holes that I kept telling myself I'd wear again one day. The worst part? I no longer noticed these objects, they had become part of my everyday life. Yet, subconsciously, each one was a subtle reminder of lack, disorder, and stagnation. And that's when it hit me, my financial life was mirroring the state of my environment. This isn't just a matter of superstition or belief. There is a logical explanation for it. Environmental psychologists explain that our brains are constantly processing everything around us, even when we aren't consciously aware of it. Broken, disorganized, or unused objects send subliminal messages of chaos and inefficiency. And when we are surrounded by this kind of energy, we feel drained, unmotivated, and lack the clarity to make good decisions. And what is the worst financial decision a person can make? Acting on impulse, without strategy, driven by fear or exhaustion. I decided to conduct an experiment. I dedicated an entire day to clearing out everything that no longer served a purpose. I threw away what was broken, donated what could still be useful to someone else, and organized every space in my home. And believe me, the difference was immediate. Not just in my environment, but in my mind. I felt lighter, more focused, and most surprisingly, I started attracting new opportunities. Coincidence? Not at all. When you create space in your environment, you create space in your life. If you are struggling financially, try this for yourself. Walk around your home and observe carefully. What is broken? What are you holding onto for no reason? What no longer works but is still taking up space? Get rid of it today. And just so you know, this small act could be the first step towards financial freedom. The moment you clear out what is holding you back, you open the doors to prosperity. Change your space, change your mindset, and you might just change your life. Your home should be a reflection of prosperity, not lack. If you still doubt that this can have a real impact on your financial life, think about the most successful entrepreneurs and millionaires you know. How many of them live in cluttered spaces filled with worthless items? The answer is clear. Prosperous people understand that their energy must align with what they wish to attract. The first step to transforming your financial life isn't out in the world, it starts within your own home. Get rid of everything that is broken, stagnant, or no longer serves a purpose. This simple action can be the turning point between remaining in the same situation or finally making a leap toward abundance. Imagine waking up every morning and the first thing you see is a pile of unpaid bills scattered across the table, overdue payment reminders stuck to the fridge, or a stack of bank letters demanding payments. How do you think this affects your mindset? Do you believe you can start the day feeling prosperous and confident when your first sight is a constant reminder of financial struggle? The truth is, what you place before your eyes every day shapes your perception of reality. If you are surrounded by symbols of debt, your subconscious begins to accept scarcity as a natural part of life. This influences your emotions, your choices, and ultimately, your financial outcomes. Studies have shown that when we feel financially pressured, our cortisol levels, the stress hormone, rise significantly. This not only affects our mental and physical health but also reduces our ability to make sound decisions. Research from Princeton University found that people in a state of financial scarcity tend to make poorer financial choices because anxiety takes up part of the mental capacity needed for strategic thinking. In other words, when you are constantly worried about bills, you act on impulse, accept bad deals, and become even more trapped in the cycle of debt. I experienced this firsthand. At the beginning of my career, I struggled to make money, but I couldn't understand why it slipped through my fingers so quickly. Then one day, I had a realization: my home was filled with symbols of my financial struggles. Bills were scattered everywhere, expense notes were always in sight, and debt reminders seemed to follow me wherever I went. Without realizing it, I was reinforcing my identity as someone in debt. So, I decided to make a change. I gathered all my bills and organized them in a way that they were no longer the first thing I saw each morning. I digitized my statements and stored financial documents away from my daily view. The impact was immediate. My stress levels dropped, my mind became clearer, and for the first time, I felt in control of my money. Before long, my financial decisions improved, and little by little, I climbed out of my financial struggles. What I learned was simple yet powerful: you cannot free yourself from scarcity while surrounded by reminders of lack. If you want to attract prosperity, start by creating an environment that reflects abundance. Your brain needs to be exposed to symbols of wealth and growth, not debt and shortage. Try this right now. Gather all your overdue bills and place them in a specific folder, keeping them out of your daily sight. Replacing bill reminders on your fridge with affirmations that reinforce your new financial mindset can be a powerful shift. Instead of constantly facing reminders of payments due, consider phrases like, "Money flows to me effortlessly," or, "I am financially abundant." While this may seem like a small change, such details have a significant impact on how you feel and act regarding money. If you've ever observed people who appear to have full control over their finances, there's one thing you can be sure of: they don't surround themselves with reminders of financial struggle. Instead, they cultivate an environment that reinforces prosperity. You can do the same, starting today. Have you ever taken a moment to reflect on what you keep in your home? Not just furniture and decorative items, but the energy and unseen messages these objects carry. Many people hold onto things that may seem harmless on the surface but, in reality, drain their energy and, worse, block prosperity from entering their lives. You might not have realized it before, but every object around you tells a story about how you perceive the world, and, more importantly, how you perceive yourself. People often accumulate old clothes that no longer fit, souvenirs from difficult times, or expensive items that have lost their usefulness. This may seem normal, but in truth, it's a deep reflection of a scarcity mindset. When you keep things, just in case you need them one day, you are subconsciously telling yourself that you don't trust the future, that you don't believe you can have something better, or that you don't deserve more than what you already have. I clearly remember a businessman who sought my advice, frustrated that despite his relentless efforts, his financial life never progressed. He had valuable contacts, an excellent product, and a skilled team. But when I visited his home, the answer was evident in every corner: outdated furniture that no longer reflected who he was, piles of documents from failed businesses gathering dust, and even a drawer full of broken watches that he held onto simply because they were once expensive. This was a direct reflection of his inability to move forward. Once he finally gathered the courage to let go of these attachments, something remarkable happened. In the following weeks, he reported feeling lighter, more confident, and noticed that his business negotiations started to flow more smoothly. This was no coincidence. What happened was a shift in identity. By removing objects that carried the energy of scarcity and failure, he created space, both mentally and physically, for prosperity to enter his life. This pattern is evident among the most successful individuals in the world. Consider the great entrepreneurs and leaders. Do you think they live surrounded by clutter, outdated objects, and reminders of difficult times? Of course not. They understand that their energy needs to be aligned with what they want to attract. Take Steve Jobs, for example. He was an extreme minimalist. He kept only what was essential because he knew that everything around him influenced his mindset. If you want to attract wealth, power, and opportunities, you must start by eliminating everything that doesn't align with this new reality. Do it now. Grab a bin bag, go to your wardrobe, and ask yourself, does this item represent the life I want to live? If the answer is no, get rid of it. Open your drawers and check for broken, old, or unused items. If you are holding onto something purely out of attachment or fear of the future, it's time to let it go. Creating an environment that embodies abundance is a crucial step for anyone looking to transform their financial reality. You cannot build a new identity of success while surrounded by remnants of your past. Scarcity is a mindset, and the first step to breaking free from it is to remove from your home anything that reinforces that energy. Remember, your home is a reflection of your life. If you want prosperity to enter, you must first make space for it. Have you ever considered how the energy of the people around you influences your life? What you may not have realized is that this energy is not only present in their words or actions, but also in the objects you keep in your home. Many people hold on to gifts, mementos, and belongings from individuals who, in one way or another, brought them pain, sadness, or frustration. These items remain infused with those vibrations, silently affecting their mindset and financial reality. I have witnessed this phenomenon countless times. People who feel stuck, unable to move forward, trapped in a past filled with struggle, no matter how hard they try, they cannot shake the feeling of lack. And, more often than not, when we take a closer look, we find a common thread, the presence of objects carrying negative emotional weight. A gift from a former partner who belittled you, a painting given by someone who never believed in you, or even an item that belonged to a person who lived a life of hardship and failure. All of these things vibrate at a frequency that, without you realizing, holds you back. Once, a businessman approached me, trying to understand why his ventures had hit a standstill. He was intelligent, disciplined, and did everything right, yet money simply did not flow. When I visited his home, I noticed something peculiar. In his office, there was a clock he had inherited from his grandfather, a man who had spent his entire life in debt, never achieving financial stability. He told me he kept the clock as a tribute. What he did not realize was that, every day, he looked at that object and subconsciously absorbed his grandfather's history of financial failure. The moment he chose to remove the clock and replace it with something symbolizing abundance, his business began to thrive. This is not magic, it is science. The mind operates through symbols, and the symbols you surround yourself with shape your reality. Now, take a look around you. What are you holding onto in your home that carries negative memories? What are you keeping simply because you fear letting go, even though you know it brings you down? If you want to transform your financial life, you must learn to sever ties with anything that represents what you no longer wish to be. Take a moment today and do this exercise. Walk through your home and observe the objects that stir unpleasant feelings. Touch them and notice the emotions they evoke. If something reminds you of a difficult time, a toxic relationship, or a chapter of your life you no longer wish to revisit, it is time to let it go. Donate it, sell it, or dispose of it, but remove it from your energetic space. This is not about being ungrateful or rejecting your past. It is about understanding that you do not need to carry memories that only reinforce what you have already overcome. Prosperity flows when you align yourself with the energy of what you wish to manifest. Your journey begins right within your own home, with the objects you choose to keep around you. Your surroundings should be a reflection of abundance, happiness, and growth. If something no longer contributes to this, it no longer has a place in your life. By freeing yourself from these invisible chains, you allow the flow of abundance to finally enter. Your environment shapes your reality. Everything you surround yourself with influences the way you think, feel, and act. If you wish to attract prosperity, you must start by eliminating whatever keeps you tied to scarcity. Small changes lead to great transformations, and every object, every thought, and every habit plays a role in this journey. Now, I have an invitation for you. If you want to continue evolving, becoming 1% better than you were before, the next video appearing on your screen is your next step. There, you will discover another powerful secret to unlocking your mind and opening the doors to abundance once and for all. Thank you for being here with me today. I look forward to seeing you in the next video. See you there.